Thank you for joining us on week 81 of I Know What You Watched last week. This is a doozy.
Oh, it's awful. This isn't even just Ultra Smut Week. This is just shocking.
Actually,
Shocking.
it's not Smut Week. It's Italian Week. It's all three directors are Romans. It's Roman Week.
Dirty buggers.
Well, you love Italy.
I do.
So what you do should be your favourite week.
Okay, I mean, without further ado, the first film we watched...
I selected them all, by the way, obviously.
SS Experiment Camp.
Otherwise known as SS Experiment Love Camp. Because it's about love.
I'm assuming that's your addition to it. That's not official.
It is official.
It's official?
Yes.
Okay. Then we watched Strip Nude for Your Killer.
And I've got to say, I had pretty high expectations. They were blown out the water.
And finally, Body Count.
Yeah, Body Count from 86. The other two, I believe, Experiment Camp was from like 75. And Strip for Your Kid was probably from 75 as well, something like that. So yeah, I am intrigued to know your order.
Well, the one that just revolted me...
No, it's not about being revolted. What's the worst movie?
Which makes it the worst movie was Strip Nude for Your Killer.
What? You're insane. She's in a bad mood today because she's fasting, so that means she hasn't had any food, so she's angry.
And then, I guess, SS Experiment Camp. So I guess that means Body Count gets top.
What? You are crazy. You're a crazy lady. Bottom place for me, Body Count. Second place, SS Experiment Camp. And right up on top, Strip Nude for Your Killer.
I was 100% convinced that we were going to have completely different rankings this week because as much as I was disgusted by this film, I could tell you were loving it.
It has everything.
What a pervert.
It has absolutely everything. Strip Nude for Your Killer isn't just the best film this week. It's probably one of the best movies. One of the best movies I've ever seen.
It's really not.
It is. It's one of the best I've ever seen. So we're going to go in my order, and we're going to start with Body Count, which was directed by Ruggero Deodato, who is the director of Cannibal Holocaust, arguably the most infamous movie of all time. Not just horror movie, probably the most infamous movie of all time. And so this is your favourite. My least favourite, Body Count, from 86.
This one's, again, I guess this one's got the most basic premise when you think of horror movies, doesn't it? It's
Let's go camping.
A group of young people going camping. And they pick up a hitchhiking... Oh no, his car's broke down, right?
Yeah, well, either way, before we get into the real action, we're in the past, and there's a basketball game going on at school.
Right.
And there's a guy called Bob, and his head is just not in the game because he sees a girl called Pamela with a guy called Tom. And Tom's talking to all the girls, right? Turns out Tom was one of Pam's exes. Mm-hmm. So Bob confronts her. She's not happy about being confronted, right? She's like, don't talk to me.
She's a strong 80s woman.
She is, yeah. And like I say, this Tom's talking to all the girls. So the basketball team has a team doctor, and he has a daughter called Rose. And she goes to her dad, the doctor, says, look, I want to go into the woods with Tom. And he warns her against it. He's like, no, those woods, they're dangerous. But of course, they go to the woods. Now, when they get to the woods, they are told by some lady, Mrs. Landers, that the ground is, sacred and cursed. Because, what part of American ground isn't cursed and sacred? And there's a curse specifically from a medicine man.
Right.
A medicine man, right? And after we're shown all this, because this is an Italian movie, we're just shown all that, and then it cuts, and we're just shown Tom finishing up in the doctor's daughter Rose. Yeah, he's finishing up in her in a tent, and then as she gets off of him, he's like, marry me! I've been there. The first time, you're, of course, just want to keep going, so... But then she says to him, what religion are you? And he's like, I'm Presbyterian. And she says, well, I'm a Jew, so no. She's like, no way. No way am I marrying you. Mr. Presbyterian. So after she's had her way with him, it seems, you know, at first thought that Tom was a Lothario, but it turns out it's Rose that's taken advantage of him. She goes out walking into the woods, as you do.
Yeah, I was going to say, as you do.
In your knickers.
And it's gone dark by now as well.
Yeah, and she comes across an abandoned cop car, but she hears all these sounds, gets scared, and she gets herself into the cop car. And then, because she's scared, she starts calling out for Tom, but he's too busy fannying about. Maybe if she had accepted his marriage proposal...
He'd be more worried about her.
Exactly, he'd be more on it, but instead, while she's in this cop car, someone starts stabbing through the back of the chair, misses her. She runs out into the woods and she finds this like plastic tube tunnel thing, hides in that. The killer comes and starts stabbing through that. And that's pretty much the end of her. And then Tom finally comes out. He's like, Rose, where are you? And he finds, face down in the ground.
Yeah.
Face down in the ground, he finds this old person masked killer who just stabs him through the neck. And that's the end of Tom and Rose. Right. Then we are 15 years later. And we're into the main crux of the movie. We've got a guy called Tony, who's driving a camper van with 3 chicks, Sissy, Carol and Tracy, and one guy called Sydney. And they pull up to this abandoned camp, right? Carol's a bit dubious. She's like, this doesn't look like much is going on here. But luckily for the girls, there's a soldier called Ben just hanging around by the side of the road. They all start calling dibs on him. Like, it must be nice to be called dibs on by a bunch of women.
Like I said, Italian week, Italian SMUT week. It's like the girls are just not only, you know, modern women who are powerful and don't need to get married, but they also just want cock constantly, apparently. That's what I was getting. Because
they've all called dibs on him, once he gets into the camper with the rest of them, it's like all's fair in love and war, innit? So Sissy goes straight for it. She gets her top. She puts it over Ben's head and she's like, what do you like? So she wins dibs because
I was surprised that we didn't get to see breast because that was
straight in her face.
You know, par for the course in the rest of these films.
There are loads of breasts in this.
In this flashback thing that we saw with the first 2 killings, this was the beginning of something in this film that continued that just baffled me, which was, is this forest some kind of like spatial warp thing? Because how far from Tom could she have possibly gotten that he wasn't hearing her? And then they're always running around the woods, apparently not knowing which way they're going. It was really annoying.
It seems like you're not familiar with the premise of teens in woods.
It's like they can get from spot A to spot B, but when they're trying to get back from spot B to spot A, they're like, oh!
Yeah, have you seen the Friday the 13th movies?
Yeah.
Yes, you have, so you should know better. Right. Now we've introduced to Ben. Ben's here now. So the campers, they arrive at where they're going to bed down. And they are met by the one and only David Ness, a.k.a. the murdering gang leader rapist from Last House on the Left. He plays Krug in Last House on the Left. And he's got a wife called Julia. And it turns out that David Ness and Julia are Ben's parents, right? And also the doc from the beginning, the doctor whose daughter Rose has been offed, he is also not happy that the campers are there. So we've seen him not happy. We've seen David Ness, obviously. We've got a couple of red herrings already before any of the new killings begin.
Well, also David Ness, as the, you know, proprietor of this camping ground, immediately tells him this place is closed, you can't be here. And it's his wife who kind of steps in and is like, oh, you can stay as long as you like. And then the appearance of their son, obviously, back from the army, kind of just lets it all go. And he's like, all right, fine, then you can all stay. And also there was another group. So we have the camper van group that you introduced, but there was also, I think, 2 guys and a girl with a car and a motorbike.
No, the motorbike was in the camper, wasn't it? And he gets out and he starts...
2 separate groups, I swear.
Whatever, no. But there are some people at the beginning who die, whose names I haven't caught, so possibly you are correct. But either way, it's not massively important because they're not important characters. Like I say, Ben is talking to his dad, David Ness, right, about the Indian shaman. He's back.
He's back!
He is back. And we're quickly... I walked out the room for a second. There's an old man shaman attack and some guy falls off a cliff.
Yeah, so 2 of them have gone hiking. Also, this is a really steep mountain. It looked like fun, but really dangerous. And the guy has left the girl to just chill. And he's gone up climbing some rocks. He gets right to the top, looks up, and there's this, scrunchy old man who spooks him, and the next thing you see is some Baywatch-style stunt action of someone just, like, flying off.
I don't think it's quite up to Baywatch standards.
Yeah, so the girl... I don't know if she even sees the old man, but she, instead of trying to see if he's okay, she just runs back to the others.
Right.
Yeah.
After that bit, we're in an abandoned bathroom for the first time. I'll call it an abandoned bathroom. It's just like a really untouched bathroom. It's like got
Disgusting
overgrown.
shower
Exactly,
area.
yeah. So I'm just going to call it the abandoned bathroom. And there's a girl whose name I haven't caught, which might be from the other group that you're talking about. And she gets got through the mirror by someone in like a beast mask.
I think it's the same scraggly old man mask, isn't it?
So it just looks different in the
looks,
dark.
Yeah, it's
to
a
what
really
it does
weird
in the daytime. Meanwhile, David Ness has been planting traps in the wilderness.
Yeah.
And the cop, Ted the cop, he's warning him. He's like, you don't want to plant traps out there.
I'll hold you responsible.
Anybody gets hurt, you're for it. Exactly.
But the traps are actually to catch the medicine man.
So, of course, it's a camping movie. So what do we have? A campfire scene. And it's a good one because instantly Sissy is suggestively playing with a wiener and making innuendos.
Does that not just happen in every single campfire scene?
Pretty much, yeah. The girls love wieners. So she's touching it. She's making innuendos in your endo. And yeah, then David Ness is looking on. He's getting even more mad at the campers, isn't he? Because David Ness is a really surly guy, no matter what movie
like kids apart from his
he's
own.
in.
Yeah.
Now, one of the girls then shows her breasts, right? And Tom has a look, but he's not interested. I'm like, what's wrong with Tom?
Maybe he's gay.
No, he's not gay.
Oh.
Anyway, Sissy's now finished playing with her wiener, so she goes into the abandoned bathroom. All of a sudden, someone in a beast mask pops out. She screams, but it's just a prank from the rest of the gang. Everyone's laughing, everyone's happy, and because it's a prank, to celebrate this, they all get giant buckets of water and just like chuck them in each other's faces.
Yeah, a water fight. But one of them in particular, one of the guys chucks a bucket of water at one of the girls, and it's literally like from this close, and it's just like, you could tell that was not comfortable, and the actress has to be like,
She was like, Mamma mia.
Maybe. But anyway, what I found really weird about this wasn't even the water fight scene. It was the fact that these kids who, good old school kids who just like to go camping rather than getting drunk and going to parties and going on social media.
Social media didn't exist in 1986.
They were like, oh, I found this abandoned, disgusting old bathroom. Why don't we all, after dinner, just go and clean it? Do you recall that?
Yeah.
That's why they're all there. They're there to clean up this abandoned bathroom.
Well, I think that's how they're earning their keep to stay at the camp.
I don't think so.
Either way, there's no social media, so I don't know what that point was. Before social media, all teens like to do was clean bathrooms. Anyway, Ben the soldier, David Ness's son, Julia's son, he gets into the camper and he sees some playful naked lady legs, like something, sexual's going on. Or is it just a severed leg?
I think it's a severed leg.
It's just a severed leg. And then we have this kind of scene where Ben gets this net over his face and he sees a guy drowning in a specimen cup.
Yeah, I'm really
But
baffled.
then it turns out it's just his mother Julia's nightmare. She had a nightmare about her son with a net over his face and a specimen jar man. So, of course, Julia...
What was the point of that?
Julia then wakes up from this nightmare, David Ness's wife. She goes wandering about. And who pops out? Ted the cop. Ted the cop, I'm like, he's going to, question her there. Instead, no, he just gets hold of her and starts making out with her. And she's a little bit like, no, I can't. But then, Ted the cop, he's a panty dropper. So the panties come down. Little do we know, or say little do they know, David Ness is looking on. But what can he do? Like I said, Ted's a panty dropper. It's the uniform. Ladies cannot resist the uniform. Can they?
Also, it's quite clear this has been going on for a while.
Yeah.
And Julia's a bit like, oh, I don't want to do this because I think my husband will kill me if he finds out.
Well, he's David Ness. He's Krug. He's going to kill everyone, isn't he?
But it seems like this cuckold kind of enjoys what he's watching, doesn't it?
I'm not sure he was enjoying it. But anyway, now the Cliff guy is back, worse for wear. He turns up at the camper door.
Yeah, he just appears.
Yeah.
So, him and the girl, when that whole thing happened, they'd kayaked or canoed across a lake, they'd hiked for God knows how far, and then he'd fallen off this cliff, and yet he somehow manages to drag himself back. That was really impressive, I thought.
Well, I guess if you're a camper, you have survival techniques.
Yeah, he kept going, this is life, the great outdoors.
Yeah. Well, that explains it then, I guess, doesn't it? Yeah. And now the...
Wholesome.
Now the Doc, Rose's dad from the beginning, the Doc, he's with the panty-dropping cop Ted.
Right.
Right. Doc, cop. And the Doc is saying that there will be more murders here. And then he starts telling the tale about Bob and Pam from the beginning, his daughter. And the official story is that they got by a bear. But then he tells the real story. And I can't quite remember what he says happened to Bob, but I know that Pam got Kevin Baconed from Friday the 13th because she's laying on her bunk and all of a sudden someone underneath her bunk put through a spear through her neck, and she's been Kevin Baconed from Friday the 13th. Yeah, a bear with a spear under a bed.
Yeah, sneaky bears.
Well, the official story was a bear just mauled them, but no. It sounds like it's Mrs. Voorhees. Now, of course, I said this is a camping movie, so of course we have a campfire scene. Now we're back around a campfire. What can you add to this random 80s dance scene with Trace, where she's like kicking her legs in the air and stuff like that?
Yeah, and the dude, the like...
Sydney.
Oh, he was...
Cool.
Yeah, super cool. Yeah, lots of very athletic dancing. And just as the girls are, calling dibs on bends and stuff like that, the guys are also all just desperately trying to get laid some way or another.
Yeah,
and
the girls are all for it.
All the girls are pretty attractive too. But anyway, Sydney, kicking about for some reason in her leotard. And two of the guys are trying to get it on with her.
Oh, yeah.
And she's like, boys, I'm going to go take a shower in the bathrooms that they cleaned.
Yeah, meanwhile, there's one of the girls is working on the bike and she says she's going to go and look for Carol. Right, because Carol's just not around.
Yeah.
Right? She's the one that's in the bathroom. So she thinks, this other girl, Sissy, thinks she's lost. Meanwhile, Ben then starts working on Sissy. Right? It's like he's targeted on Sissy. He's like, I'm going to have this one. Tracy, after dancing, she gets her boobs out. And Dave says, I'll give you 3 guesses as to what I want.
Yeah, because Dave followed her to these cleaned bathrooms.
But then there's a noise. There's a noise.
But hang on, because her reaction to being caught with her breasts out was like, let me just lean on the wall with my tits right in your face and be like, I guess we can try.
This is realistic stuff.
Yeah, super realistic.
It's realistic. And they hear a noise and there's a bit of a chase. She ends up being stabbed through the mouth.
Yeah, because I think that's it. You know when you mentioned before that one of the girls gets got through the mirror? Mm-hmm. So it seems that at the back of this bathroom, these two start hearing the noises and there seems to be like a partition wall, so there's something behind it. And the guy's being all like, oh, I'll keep you safe. You go outside and I'll try and break through the wooden partition. And she somehow manages to get around and goes into the partition bit, which is where like the shaman lives, is what it seemed to me. Maybe
he lives there. Let's try and get through this so we can get onto Essex experiment camp and strip nude for your killer. Right. Dave, after that girl is stabbed through the mouth, Dave is then chased. His fingers are chopped off by an axe. Then he's off. So now we're left with Sid, Ben, Sissy, Carol, and I believe possibly one other teen. I'm not entirely sure. Now, forget the bloodshed that's been taking place. There's a domestic going on. All right? Because Julia has decided to tell David Ness, I'm leaving you. And he's not best pleased about this, so he starts choking her. Like, you can't leave me. But she manages to pick up a heavy ornament and clobbers him.
Yeah, also, another reason why she wouldn't want to stay with him. It seems that there's a history of physical abuse going on here.
Well, she's married David Ness. Hasn't she seen Last House on the Left? So, while she's clobbering him round the head, she starts to panic. And she starts dragging him away from where she's clobbered him onto the floor. Ted, the panty-dropping cop, is outside. She starts to panic because he's snooping. He comes across her in a barn. They just start making out. And as they're making out, little do they know that David Ness is still alive, and he's seen this panty-dropping cop making moves on his wife once again. Not good for Ted the cop. Not good for Julia. So now Carol's at the shower now, because they thought that she was like missing. I need to go and find Carol. I don't know where she is. She's been in the shower. Right? She's at the shower. She finds dead Tony and Tracy.
In the partition bit.
And she runs to Julia, Ben's mum, screaming about everybody being dead. And she wants to call the police. But because Julia has just clobbered her husband, David Ness, around the head, she stops Julia from calling the police. Obviously now she's red herring. She's like, why can't I call the police?
But also, I thought that Julia's reaction was really weird. So she obviously thinks that she's killed her husband, but she did it totally in self-defense. There's a history of abuse there. And she's sleeping with the cop. So why is she, making things worse for herself and hiding him under branches and whatnot? That's only ever going to go wrong.
Anyway, Ben's in the woods now with Sissy, and of course, what do? They split up. Because that's what you do when you're under attack in the woods, is you have to split up. Sissy ends up being chased by David Ness, and Sid sees her, but he gets done by one of the traps, one of David Ness's traps that are planted all around the forest. And Dave ends up being attacked in a tent, right? And Ben finds him, and he says that the shaman is back. So Ben and Dave get onto the bike and they ride off. They end up finding Sissy, who is hysterical, and she's explaining to Ben and Dave what's been going on. All of a sudden, Carol shows up there too, and the cop's coming. Ted the cop is coming. Dave tells Ben, look, Soldier Ben, your dad is the shaman, and he's the one that has killed your mother.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I haven't even mentioned that Julia's dead now.
Oh, yeah, of course. Because Julia was back in the barn and then David Ness clobbered her. Yeah. After he came back and had killed the others or whatever. Have we seen already when Ben gets some kind of flashback scene?
This is happening now. So when I just said that Dave tells Ben that his dad, David Ness, is the shaman, right? And he says that he's one that just killed your mother. That sends him a bit loco.
Yeah, because that's obviously the first Ben hears that his mum's dead.
Then we have this flashback, and it's a memory from Ben as a child, and he sees his mum, Julia, shagging some other bloke. I'm not sure if it's supposed to be Ted.
I'm pretty sure it's still Ted.
Maybe. Either way, she's shagging some bloke. Ben sees her, little child Ben, so then Julia comes up to him and says, look, don't tell your dad, because if you do, shaman's going to get you. And that's where the whole shaman thing has come from. So now the shaman comes out and he just instantly axes Sissy in the face. And he starts fighting Ben. And the cop Ted comes out and blows away the shaman. But then he unmasks him. Even though Ben's just been attacked, it turns out Ben is the shaman. Right.
Also, how does that make sense for 15 years ago? So how old was Ben when he did it? 10 or something? And why is he just killing random people?
Well, his mum's been having sex in front of him. That's going to warp you, isn't it? After now the shaman's been blown away, we think it's all over. David Ness walks out into the woods, and all of a sudden Ted the cop, who's been shagging his missus, is like, I know you're out there, David Ness, and you're going to get what's coming to you. And all of a sudden, another shaman comes out, axes David Ness to death, and that's the end of the film. I can't believe you put this top. This is the worst movie of the week by far. Worst movie of the week.
It was the least revolting to me.
There was nothing revolting about the other two. And let's go on with it. Pick number 2 for me, also for you, right? SS Experiment Camp or SS Experiment Love Camp, whichever one you prefer, right? More from those oversexed Italians.
Okay, to be fair, with a title like this, I was expecting it to be, even worse.
Well, it's Nazisploitation. Yeah, I was somewhat disappointed because what I enjoy is the taboo nature, but it was a bit tame.
But also it was a bit ridiculous in terms of, forgive me, I know you like to go chronologically.
No, you're not going to mention anything important.
But obviously,
don't you dare.
We've got prisoners. It's an Essex experiment camp. there's prisoners, but they seem really chill about being in a concentration camp.
Anyway, so we open up, and there's a lady in what seems to be like an electric chair. And there are a bunch of Nazis around her, dirty Nazis. You know, in this country, England, Nazis are a figure of fun. So if I do some impressions, it's not pro-Nazi. It's taking the mickey, right? Also, you know what? My parents went to a murder mystery weekend once when I was a kid, and my dad had to go as Hitler. Everyone got given a character secretly. My dad was Hitler. I have vivid memory of my dad just coming out the bathroom. I was like, oh, look, it's Adolf. Anyway, there's a lady having electroshock therapy, and a bunch of Nazis around going like, swear your allegiance. Swear your allegiance. And she's like, no way. So they give her electroshock therapy. We have a brief shot of an incinerator, and because she's not swearing her allegiance to the Führer, she's put into the incinerator. There's another girl in an electric chair. She wets herself and swears her allegiance, so the tests are working. That's the opening to the film.
Yeah, did you like... I thought it was quite cool, actually, the way they did the incinerator thing.
It was good, yeah.
They had...
Considering this is, I think, 76 or 77.
Well, I mean, I was going to say it's obviously very... it wasn't, like,
artistic.
realistic. It was artistically
Yeah.
done. But, you know, you probably know, as we do, that bodies, when they're burning, obviously it, like, has nerve-ending effects, so people are still moving when they're being burnt. And, yeah, you had this trio of bodies that were all moving around in a really weird way.
Now we're at the point where, because you keep liking to race forward, so now that we've had this opening, we're introduced to the women's group being dropped off at the SS Experiment Camp of Love, right? Women dropped off and they're instantly showering naked, because obviously there's a Roman behind the camera and he's like, Mamma mia, ladies, take your clothes off and just stand there with your bush out.
He's also told them, you're having a great time. You're having a nice shower. Don't let it bother you that there are SS guards watching you. They're there like, look at me wash my hair. I was like, aren't these supposed to be prisoners?
They're not concerned that they're naked. They're not concerned that they're naked showering in front of a bunch of Nazis. They're not concerned they've been kidnapped. Instead, they just start bitching instantly. And they accuse one girl of smelling of sauerkraut. Ew, she smells of sauerkraut.
That their, like, complete ambivalence to their situation is what I found the most tasteless in this whole film. I was like, this is...
Karin, this is Nazisploitation.
This is so messed
It's
up.
a subgenre. Right, so now we've been introduced to the girls. They're showering, of course. Now we're introduced to the lads who have been brought to the SS Experiment Camp of Love.
The creme de la creme of the German army.
One of them, this blonde guy with a blonde tash, he's like, hey, have you seen all those women dropped off? I wonder if this is going to be a sex experiment. And they're like, oh. But there's one guy next to him just reading a book. He's not getting excited. So he says to him, hey, are you more interested in books than a lady's thighs? I'm like, he's got a good point, actually.
I am.
So, now we're back to the ladies. They've showered. Now they're in their bunks, right? And there's this blonde lady, I don't know her name, but she's the main lady, right? And she sees a guard outside, and she's kind of like eyeing him, saying, can you pass me
It's the bookworm.
one of your cigarettes? One of your cigarettes. And this guard is the aptly named Sergeant Helmet. So Sergeant Helmet throws her a cigarette, and that's how their kind of relationship starts to begin. They were introduced to a very strict Frau, and the strict Frau is in the ladies' dorm telling them all to get up, get out, get up. Right, very strict Frau. So we see them getting out. At the same time, the main character in this, I believe, is Colonel von Kleiben. He's giving a pep talk to the lads. And he's like, this experiment that you're all here for, it's very important that you do what is right for the regime and for the Führer. Right?
There's a lot of Heil Hitlers in this film.
So they're getting physical examinations. You know, are they going to be worthy sperm donors? We don't know. We're now introduced to the strict Frau. We're now introduced to Magda the Madame, because there's also a brothel in this
Well,
camp.
I think the Strickfrau, she was in the same outfits as the prisoners, so I think she's just one of those prisoners with special privileges.
She's got Stockholm syndrome.
Whereas
or
the
whatever.
other one you're talking about now,
Magda.
She's a Nazi. She's a German.
Magda the Madame.
A nurse
And
or doctor.
the Nazis, they bring her the fresh meat, you know, the new ladies, and she says, "Skinny bitches, aren't they?"
Yeah, because she was so rotund.
She's used to a fuller lady, so that's what she's saying. We've got a bunch
Well, what is she
bunch of skinny
expecting
bitches
from
here.
prisoners?
Well, anyway, Colonel von Kleiben, right? There's also a lady scientist. There's a lady Nazi scientist.
Oh, I thought that's who you were talking about.
Don't think so, maybe. But anyway, Colonel von Kleiben, he, after giving his pep talk to the lads about this experiment,
Yeah.
he's got his own agenda.
He does.
So he goes to the doctor, this bearded doctor, Dr. Steinfeld, on unofficial business. And he says that he wants surgery. But on what? I can't imagine what it could be.
Well, he's
so,
also gone to the female doctor and been like, have you got the test results from the men? And he's like, which one is the most potent? And of course it's Helmut.
potent helmet.
Yeah.
So, at first, Dr. Steinfeld is all, there's no way that I'm going to do off-the-books surgery. But what I could kind of glean is that Dr. Steinfeld had been working with another doctor who is a political enemy, and von Kleiben will release this information and end him if he doesn't agree to do this surgery.
No, it was even worse than that.
Right.
The doctor,
Well, it's Nazis. Can't get much worse, can
the
it?
doctor was working in a hospital with a political enemy.
Right.
The hospital, there was like a fire or something, and he was the only escapee. And it turns out that the colonel has found out that the doctor was actually the political enemy, but he took on the persona of one of his Nazi-friendly...
Right.
So yeah.
I would say, as I say in Germany, whatever, right? So now, von Kleiben tells Dr. Steinfeld, I have a subject in mind. And then he gives the old, Sing Heil! And that's the end of the scene. Right. The Tashman who I mentioned, the blonde Tashman, who was like, oh, I hope this is a sex experiment. He says, and I quote, I'm excited to bang, even if it is just experimental. If only he knew what was going on. So now, Sergeant Helmet is there again, and the girl, the blonde girl, wants another cigarette, but he's kind of like caught by one of the guards. Like, you shouldn't be out here. What are you doing here, Sergeant Helmet? Get back there.
Why do they all have such weird voices, not just an accent?
Germans.
Is that how you do your German
Nazis.
accent?
Nazis in particular, right? Now, it's time to get down
To the experiment.
to the experiments. So you're thinking, what are these experiments? Turns out it's just a man and a woman in a tub shagging.
Well, there's one in a water tank and two on, like, gurney bed things.
Yeah, what's happening is a man and a woman in a tub. They're getting down to it, while, you know, the Nazis stand around with clipboards writing stuff down. Oh, very interesting shagging. Meanwhile, Helmet and his blonde piece, like you said,
They get paired up,
they're-
don't they?
They get paired up. They're on their own bed, and she says, "They did not need to drug me. Do with me what you will." She's happy.
Well,
She's got Sergeant Helmet,
to be perfectly
He's got-
honest,
big cojones.
and he gave her a cigarette, so, you know, she's got to pay him back, right?
Yeah,
That wasn't my point. All of the women seem quite just content to get on with this experiment.
You say that, but there's always one, isn't there, that refuses to collaborate in the SS experiment love camp. So she is put in to the water tank by the bald sergeant. His name is just Sergeant in
and
the
the
things.
female.
He's a bald guy, and the female scientist lady who I was talking about.
Actually, I think
right?
it's the other one in the.
It really doesn't matter who it is. Stop it. So we've got bald sergeant and one of the ladies from the camp. So they decide to put the unruly lady into the tub. What do?
Turn the heat right up.
And do you remember the little contraption they had to turn the heat up?
It looked really professional.
It did. It was just like a hole in the wall with someone's coloured in a circle, a triangle red and a triangle blue. Like, this is warm. It's cold. So they start to boil her in the tank. But that's not enough. They then turn it back around and decide, now you've been boiled, we're going to freeze you. And the Frau says, it's the strict Frau, which is doing the experiment. And she says, that'll teach you to be frigid. And then the bald sergeant says, before she was only frigid, now she's frozen. Ha 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 ha. Evil. Evil, evil Nazis. You know, because of the boiling and then the freezing, at first I thought this scene was red hot. Then I just found it chilling.
You are such an idiot.
Blonde cigarette girl is back, once again flirting with Helmet, because he's given her the old business now. So now, of course, it's been like 1 or 2 days. They are in love. Because
there's been a cigarette exchanged and some body fluids.
Maybe that's
enough.
Maybe that's why this isn't just the SS experiment camp. It's the SS experiment love camp, because love reigns, even during Nazi occupation. Love reigns. So we're back in the barracks now, the ladies' barracks, and after the experiments have gone on, there's one lady who just really loves marmalade.
She's constantly eating.
She loves marmalade specifically.
She's always like, oh, we saved you, the ones who've been off to have the experiment performed. They come back and she's like, oh, we saved you some food. So clearly she's eaten. And then she goes to sit down and joins them again. She's always like using a wooden spoon to ladle jam onto her bread.
Yeah, she loves preservatives. She conserves. Yeah. And not only does she love marmalade, but she's like, I'm quite happy to be experimented on as long as they just ask me.
If they keep feeding me like this, she says, yeah.
And if they ask me.
Right.
If they ask me permission to, get in between my legs, I'm all for it. Just feed me marmalade and penis. What do you think of that? Is this a realistic portrayal of ladies under occupation by the Nazis?
That's what I said right at the beginning of reviewing this film. That
I'm going to say
the way that they were acting was the most tasteless thing of this whole film.
Like I said, this is done by a sex-crazed Italian. Back to beard Dr. Steinfeld. We've already seen von Kleiben come to him, saying that he's got a secret job for him. He's now being asked about a womb transplant.
I feel like that's what the whole experiment is about, though. Don't you think?
It's not just womb transplants.
Well, no, but that's a personal thing, what you're thinking of. I'm pretty sure the reason that they're getting the creme de la creme of Nazis to...
Well, it's to breed the Aryan race, isn't it?
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure that once the prisoners get pregnant, they're taking the ovaries out and putting them in, like, Germans or something. I think that's the idea.
We actually see the ovaries get taken out. That was nice. But obviously, Steinfeld, he's doing this under duress. He doesn't want to do it, does he? He doesn't want to do a womb transplant. Has there even been a womb transplant before? I'm not entirely sure. Now, we are back with the lads, specifically blonde Tash man. He's bragging again. He's like, in the tub, out the tub, I'll take them all. That's a good attitude to have, because, if you're going to survive the SS experiment love camp, you're going to want to do as you're told and be enthusiastic about it. Right?
For the guys, this is great, because they say as well, we're only here for a little while, we're going to have to go back to the front. And I think being in a nice, cushy place, having sex on the regular, seems like a lot more fun than being out
Which is an option for Helmet. And Helmet, Sergeant Helmet, he is summoned to Colonel von Kleiben's quarters.
Because he's potent.
And when von Kleiben is kind of like buttering him up, talking, he's also kind of like spiked his drink. He's put something in his drink. And Helmet says, I don't really want to stay here. Where I belong is on the front line fighting. And he says, no. I have other plans for you. And he's like, and he says, here are 2 of my friends. And these 2 ladies walk in. And he says, these ladies are here to make the evening more pleasant. Next thing you know, Helmet's off in the bedroom shagging them both, while von Kleiben just sits there.
Watching.
Yes.
Little bit weird. Oh, and also, we didn't even mention earlier, when the prisoners first arrived, 1 or 2 of them, I think 2, were handed over to what seems to be an on-site brothel.
I mentioned the brothel.
Oh, is that when you meant that? Oh, skinny bitches, aren't they?
I
did not
I
get
literally
that.
said, Madame, they have a brothel on the premises. Yeah. After, or so let's say during von Kleiben watching this threesome with Helmet and his two lady friends, the camera then zooms in on a wall hang of a swastika, so we know it's evil. We know the evil doings are abound because here's the swastika, right? We are now back at Magda's brothel. Magda's brothel, and the Madame is giving all the ladies a pep talk. So the lads have had a pep talk. Now it's time to pep talk the ladies. She's like, we have to keep our reputation intact, ladies. So, give them the good stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Steinfeld is now doing his womb transplant under duress. He's getting on with a womb transplant. While this is going on, after her pep talk, the brothel is now full of rowdy soldiers. It's absolutely full of rowdy soldiers. And, they're all like rolling around on the floor in their pants and stuff like this. The ladies got their stockings on pulled up and they're all topless. One of the soldiers goes to take, his lady for the evening up the stairs. As they get to the foot of the stairs, he's like, hey, wait. You won't be needing these. And just pulls her knickers down and throws them away. Then he takes her up the stairs. And he's right, she won't be needing them, will she?
And one of the new recruits is hiding under said stairs.
Yeah, there's a shy girl, unfortunately a shy young girl, and the maniacal bald sergeant who boiled and froze one of the ladies in the tub. He finds her, didn't he?
Yeah.
As he finds her, he brings her out in front of everyone who's having this rowdy sex party, this orgy. And he's like, I've never seen you before. Why don't you please me? And then she's like, not really, she's not really into it. So then he punches her in the face, and it seems like sending her a bit doolally. She starts spinning around and around.
Oh, he keeps telling her to dance for us, and smacking her about.
So she starts spinning around.
This is the most horrendous thing in the film, because then she wakes up under him, and as she gets out, she's got obviously blood like running down her thighs and stuff.
He's just taking her virginity. He's taking her virginity, so she finds a fork while he's sleeping drunk, stabs him multiple times, and
yeah, good for her.
She runs naked out into what I'm going to call just no man's land, and all the guards like, stop. She ends up being blown away, but not quite. She's like shot, and then the bald sergeant, he survived this fork attack, and he comes out and he hangs her upside down from a post while all the other ladies are watching on in fear.
Yeah, he's making an example out of her.
Like I said, it's a Nazisploitation. What do you expect?
Well, this is more what I was expecting, and this actually was horrendous, whereas the rest of it was very much like rose-tinted glasses, like, oh yeah, they're prisoners, but they're being fed and they're quite happy and they're catty and they're, just getting in the tub.
I love marmalade. She smells of sauerkraut. Yeah, this is realistic. Now, after seeing this, Helmet has more concerns because he's heard that in the next experiment, they're going to swap partners. But because he's fallen in love with blonde cigarette girl, he goes to von Kleiben and he's like, look, I really don't want to swap partners. And von Kleiben's like, well, you will do whatever the Führer wants you to do. And he's like, no, I'll do anything. I'll even put myself forward for this surgery experiment that you have in mind. So now he's offered himself up. Time for cock and ball surgery. That's what it was leading to. That's what the experiment is.
Turns out
Steinfeld has to do it.
Turns out the Colonel Sergeant guy,
Colonel von Kleiben, because we keep seeing it through flashbacks. Turns out he, I assume, was raping a woman, and she bit his testicles off. Bit his nuts off.
Again, good for her. And so he is. That's why he can't get it on with anyone. He just watches. Mm-hmm. And he wants the most potent sack available, which happens to be Helmet's.
Of course, it's Helmet.
And so, yeah, now we see, we just see some little, like, sacky balls being pushed out of the skin.
Steinfeld has made a slit, like the midriff, is that what you call it? Yeah. And we just see
two little eggs.
Two perfectly shaped balls put into a specimen dish, ready to be transferred to von Kleiben's junk. Good stuff. You're not getting this in most films, are you?
Oh no.
Ball transplant, womb transplant. No.
Ugh,
Nazis getting their balls bitten off.
What did Helmut think he was signing up for?
Well, he's in love. He's blinded by love, isn't he? So he doesn't even care.
I mean, this experiment thing could have been anything, and he's like, yeah, I'll do it. That's just stupid.
I guess you're under stress, it's wartime.
Not for him.
You've just been taken... Well, he's part of the lads' experiment camp, though, isn't he?
Yeah, he's just there to have sex with prisoners.
Fun.
Horrendous.
So, now there's this other experiment going on. So, the Nazis have now put these ladies in a chair, and what I can tell, they're just removing some earwax. It's like earwax removal surgery, but they die from it.
No, they were testing to see how much pressure the eardrums can withstand. So they've got
it was nothing to do with earwax.
Air gun. No.
Right, got it.
And one girl's watching whilst the other one's having the experiment done, and it blows out her brains pretty much straight away, doesn't it?
Yeah, that was good.
And then they put the other one in. I was like, well, clearly that is too much. But then they're like, oh, let's just do this exact same thing again. That doesn't seem like a very smart experiment to me.
Well, that's the bad news, but good news. The bollock surgery was a success, and now von Kleiben wishes to use them. So, he organises a little soiree for the evening. And who's invited, of course? Bunch of ladies. Helmut, meanwhile, he's met up with his blonde girl. He gets on top of her. He's about to make love. But then he's like, Nein! Where are my balls? I cannot get it up. And he realises he's got no balls. But it took him getting naked and getting on top of his blonde to realise that
what the hell had happened to him.
He has no balls now.
Also, none of this really makes any sense because, I guess without bollocks you can't impregnate.
You can't bone.
But you don't need nuts in order to use your penis.
Yeah, but it's still going to be frightening if you look down there. It's like, oh, look, there's me cock, but where are me balls?
Yeah,
Oh, von Kleiben's taken them.
Do you know what? I think it would look a lot nicer down there without balls, actually.
So, as I said, good news for von Kleiben, because he's got some fresh nuts. Helmut has no nuts, yeah.
And apparently he means
of course,
can't get it off either.
It sends Helmut absolutely mental.
Yeah.
So he confronts Dr. Steinfeld. He's like, you took my nuts, doctor! Von Kleiben, meanwhile, is having a great time. He's having the time of his life, and that's when we see him actually then have the flashback of his balls being bitten off, right? As we go back to Helmut confronting the doctor can't live with what he's done. It's one nut surgery too many for him, so he can't live with the guilt, so he blows his brains out. So then Helmut goes looking for von Kleiben. He runs into him pretty quickly. He's like, how have you been doing with my balls? And then von Kleiben's like, hey, we can work this out. Because the surgery was a success, we can find someone to work on you. He's offering up someone else's balls to placate.
This is just nut swap.
To placate Helmut. Yeah, because, it's been a success. But, unfortunately, though, he's like, no, you cannot, because Steinfeld has just killed himself.
I also didn't understand, and to be fair, I think the female Nazi doctor woman, made the same point. She's like, why are you using one of our boys when we've got loads of prisoners?
Well, they don't have magical nuts, do they?
What, Helmut has magic nuts, does he?
Yeah, he has the most potent nuts in the camp. He's been watching him. He's like,
Yeah, but that's only from a group of 8 lads.
Helmut can make love to 2 of them at once. I would love to do this, but currently I have no balls.
And that's what it takes, apparently.
Yeah. Was von Kleiben like a metaphor for Hitler? Because
that's what I was thinking.
Because they said that he had sexual problems, right?
One ball.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe.
Is there more to that song?
Yeah.
Well, how's it go?
Oh, I don't know the whole thing.
Was yours German?
Yeah, but that was an English song, obviously. Why would the Germans be singing about one ball Hitler?
Well, the Germans don't like him either, because Germans get a bad name, because he's bloody Austrian, he is. Hitler.
Yeah, all Austrians are bad.
Yeah. Ugly country, Austria. What? Just because I'm... So obviously after what happens, Helmut has gone nuts. Get it? He's gone nuts. So he's walking around blowing everybody away, but he leaves von Kleiben to the ladies of the night because he's obviously been mistreating them for a long time. And the ladies of the night get their revenge on von Kleiben and they essentially rip him apart.
How has he been mistreating them when he can't even do anything, though, apparently?
Well, he's still a Nazi, isn't he?
Well, yeah,
He's a
but
dirty
according to this
Nazi.
film, that's barely even a bad thing.
I'm pretty sure we have gathered that the Nazis are bad from this movie. But, you know, the Italians, they were fascists at the time, weren't they? They were part of the bad lot, but we defeated them.
Oh, I didn't.
You didn't, no. We did.
You weren't there either.
You're welcome. My granddad did.
All right.
Yeah, may he rest in peace. Lovely man. So yeah, Helmet is now shooting everyone. Von Kleiben's got. Helmet runs outside, and it's kind of like a free-for-all. And he meets his blonde girl, but she's blown away by the bald sergeant. She's killed first, and then instantly Helmet gets his revenge by shooting away the blonde sergeant.
Oh.
And then Helmet is shot. Just everyone's dead, and that's the end of the film. Everybody's dead. Doesn't matter who's got whose balls, who's nuts. No one's allowed to use them. So the experiments are over, aren't they?
I think this was a very nice, apt little show of what can happen to you if you can't get it up anymore. You just go completely mental.
Possibly. Well, I guess if I had no nuts and I was a Nazi in charge of a camp, I'd be like, well, anything goes here, so if I can get a pair of nuts from someone, I'll take them.
Do you think this is what, you know, those Viagra companies and stuff should be using as a thing? Like, look, we don't want this going on, so let's just roll the pills out there so that everyone can get a stiffy.
No, that never once came into my mind. Now, this film is not great, but I did enjoy the taboo nature, and I also enjoyed a nut transplant. That was fantastic. Here are the nuts. And I love marmalade. As long as they ask me, they can have me. She smells of sauerkraut. Yeah. Great stuff. Great stuff from the Italians once more. It did disappoint slightly. I haven't seen much. I don't think I've seen any Nazisploitation moves apart from this one, and there are some pretty harrowing looking ones out there. Like when they create a giant monster to just sexually assault all the ladies in the camp. That's one. And there's obviously ones where like there's an evil lady running the camp, and she's mistreating all the women and lesing off with them.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's a whole host of this. We can have Nazisploitation week. Why don't you like it? Good stuff. Now time. We thought that was good, right? Nazi experiment love camp. Then you are gonna love. From 1975, one of the greatest movies of all time, Strip Nude for Your Killer. The title, you know you're in for greatness with that kind of title. So, it opens great because straight away there's a doctor just working between a woman's legs. That's the first thing you see. And is there a more beautiful sight than a lady with her legs akimbo? I'm not sure there is.
I can think of 100,000. Yeah.
Balls?
Absolutely not.
Right. So as he's between this lady's legs, he's kind of like, I'm not sure what he's doing on her, but she seems to be pregnant. And he seems to be checking her, but all of a sudden she like has a little fit. The doctor runs to the phone and he's like, Carlo, you have to get here now. She's had a massive coronary. So Carlo turns up. They dump her in a bathtub. And that's the opening. I've got to say, wonderful cold blue lighting. This is somewhat of a giallo, this movie. Obviously Italian, it's a giallo. Lighting in this is absolutely stellar. That's the first thing I noticed. So after this opening, get nice opening credits of kind of like shaky cam through the city at night. And after we've gone through this little journey with the shaky cam at night, we see a biker who you thought was a gimp.
Yeah, that is the tightest, shiniest biker suit I've ever seen.
Oh, it's tight.
It was latex, not leather. That was latex.
Well, again, this is from these over-sexed Italians.
This was definitely a gimp suit.
Again, and the biker notices the doctor walking up some stairs into a building, but before the doctor can get in, kills him, stabs him to death, and we get that wonderful ultra red, thick red giallo blood. Yeah, big fan of that. Now we're really getting to the crux of things. Like now the movie really starts. We're at swimming baths. And at this swimming bars, there are lots, and I mean lots, of sleazy looking men, like Tashes galore, big fat bellies, man tits, hairy chest, golden medallions. And there's a lady, Lucia, who's literally sashaying. Now, I was going to say strutting, but you're right. She is sashaying past all the lads. The lads notice her. Carlo's there in his teeny tiny little pants, because again, this is an Italian movie. It's so small that his ass cheeks are hanging out of them. So something for the ladies as well, right? Carlo notices Lucia and he's like, oh, lads, stay here. I'm going to go and follow her. And follow her he does. He gets his camera out.
His camera. What a bloody weirdo.
And as she's walking through, it's not just a swimming bath. It seems like it's a hotel complex, something like that. So as she walks out of the swimming baths, he's following her, just taking multiple photos of her bottom.
Nowadays, that would be considered a crime.
Multiple photos of her bottom. And then she's like going up the stairs. And he's kind of like just saying to her stuff like, oh, yeah. Oh, that's nice. And she's kind of like ignoring him at this point. She's letting him take the photos of her bum. She's like walking down a corridor, more photos of the bum.
It's like she's just used to this behaviour, isn't it? Yeah.
Then a lady comes out though. She like disturbs Clive. She's like, hey, I'm working here. He like fobs off the woman, carries on taking photos. Eventually, Lucia ends up at the hotel bar. And as she's sitting at the bar, he's still like... And he's literally like manhandling her face. And he's like, oh. She's acting very uninterested, but before the movie progresses, in my notes I'd written, she's acting uninterested, but Carlo's going to have his way with her. Yeah? So...
Well, he doesn't have to do much. He just says, hey, I'm a fashion model photographer.
Well, what he does is he name drops. He says, look, most girls would do anything to have me shoot them because I've worked with Harper's Bazaar, Vogue magazine. Guess what? She hears Vogue magazine, Harper's Bazaar. All of a sudden, she is interested. But before she gets too cocky, too confident, she stands up and he's like, we'll have to lose some of this belly fat here. You're a bit porky. So he's got a great idea. He's like, I'm going to take you to the sauna. We can melt off those inches. Great idea. So as she's agreeing to this, they're about to go and walk up the stairs. He gives her a little slap on the bum and says, shake it, baby. And she's like, ooh. Yeah. Now, what's genius about this is, when you're a writer, when you're a director, you want the audience to empathise, to relate to your main characters. And, you know, I'm really relating to Carlo because this is not too different to how I treat you. In fact, it's exactly the same.
That is not how we started, Johnny.
It's exactly the same.
Don't be so offensive to me. That is not how we started.
I didn't say it's how we started. I say that's pretty much how I treat you.
You did not start by taking pictures of my arse, slapping me on it and being like, oh, you're a bit porky.
Once again, I didn't say it's how we started. I said this is pretty much how our relationship is now. You know, it's not like I haven't ever said to you, shake it, baby. And you're quite receptive to that. Maybe just because Carlo's a bit more sleazy than I am.
And they don't know each other. It's a completely different thing.
Yes!
And also, they then get into the sauna, and within 2 seconds, it's like, oh, come on, let me just take this off. She's like, oh, no. But she still just lets him do it.
No, that's not quite right. They get into the sauna. Gotta let me go through this. They get into the sauna. He suggests that she takes off her bikini top. And she's okay with that because he says to her, you know, wearing bikini tops is kind of bad for you anyway. It's not good for you to wear bikini tops. I can't remember what excuse he gives, but it's not good for you ladies to wear bikini tops. So if you're at the beach, you're at the bars, go topless is what this movie message is about, right? So as he's now taking off her top, he just quickly gets on his knees, starts taking down her bottoms. And she's like, wait, what are you doing? What if somebody comes in? And he just says, hey, you wouldn't believe how many models' careers started this way. So all of a sudden she's like, okay, then how do you want me? And just starts like posing on the bed there. Yeah, he's like, come on, baby. This could be the start of your career. So as she starts posing, he's getting on top of her. And he's just pretending to shoot at this point. Like the camera's not even going off. And she says, what shall I do? And he's like, do what you want. Because really, his job is done. He's already got her naked. He doesn't really care about the photos anymore. He's got her naked. Now, they're in a sauna. After she realises that his camera's not going off, he's like, oh, yeah, well, actually, it's getting a bit hot in here, so maybe I'll get into something more comfortable. He slips off his tiny Italian pants and just shimmies on top of her. It's Boink City. It's Boink City. The lady who...
It's been 5 minutes since she sashayed past him as a stranger, and now she's just like, yeah,
If even that.
You've given me your word that you are a photographer for Vogue, so go for it.
But he is a good photographer.
Disgusting.
Right? The lady who interrupted Carlo in the hallway, she's peeping through the sauna door. She opens up the door and she's like, Carlo, what are you doing? And he's like, bug off. Can't you see I'm busy here? So she does bug off. And as the door shuts, we just hear like the voiceover of Carlo going, now, where was I? What was I? Oh yeah, now I remember. It's almost like he's forgotten momentarily that he's inside Lucia while he's been interrupted. Oh yeah,
also,
now I remember.
He obviously had a date with this other woman who keeps interrupting him. And she doesn't seem that shocked either. She's a bit miffed. Like,
This is
I've been waiting for you. But
1975 Italia.
it seems to me like he's just doing this all the time.
Carlo is the man.
He's disgusting.
Carlo is the man. He's not disgusting. He's having sex with Lucia.
Yeah, he tricked her.
I don't think she's really been tricked.
I think so.
No, she's not been tricked at all. He's gone in hard.
This is casting couch 101.
He's gone in hard.
No, he has tricked her. He's literally tricked her out of her clothes.
Well, kudos.
No.
Absolutely fantastic. So after this great sauna scene, this swing bath scene, hotel scene with Lucia and Carlo, transported to a dressing room, like a model's dressing room. We've got the vanity mirrors and all that. There's a guy called Franco who's a makeup artist. He's working on a lady. And Carlo's assistant / protege, Magda, is also there. So introduced to her. In walks Carlo with his new piece, Lucia. And I say piece because I forgot to mention, while he was photographing her in the sauna, he was like, you're a real piece. What a piece. She is a piece. You're a piece. I've called you a piece before. That's what I'm saying. I've got a simpatico with Carlo. So, Carlo shows up with Lucia. He announces, this is the new model. Look at this top piece of merchandise. And that she is. Magda's not happy though. She's like, look, we've already booked a model. Carlo though steps in and is like, look, you're the apprentice. You can't let your head rule your heart when it comes to casting.
But it seems like everyone knows that his casting process is, a southerly experience, shall we say. Because
Carlo has announced that Lucia is going to be the new top piece of merchandise, there's a boss lady there, Gisela. She seems like boss of the entire model company, probably even just above Carlo, right? So she wants a word with Lucia in her office, and off they go. We cut there. Now, the next scene is dark. The camera is close up on just two scantily clad ladies lit in red making out. And I'm like, okay, what is going on here with these two ladies making out to soft music? I don't know who it is. I don't know why it's happening, but I like it. I like it a lot. Camera pans down to the butt. Okay, and all of a sudden we see that there's actually a show going on. And we see big fat Maurizio, who is Gisela's husband, sitting with a wannabe model called Patrizia. Mm-hmm. Yeah, remember this piece? Yeah, and so she's complaining because Maurizio is trying to order another bottle of champagne as he smokes away. Patricia's like, no, I can't stay. I have to model tomorrow, and you know how demanding your wife is of me. I have to go home and get rest. So she's having an affair with Maurizio somewhat, even though she's going to be working for his wife in the morning.
Well, I don't know if I would call it an affair, because
let's not go into that yet, because as she gets up to leave, Maurizio tries to bribe her. He's like, you do know, if you want to move forward in the modelling industry, there are certain things that you can do for me. And then she says, funny, that's exactly what your wife said to me this morning. So his wife, Giselle, has also been propositioning Patrizia so that she can get her foot in the door of modelling.
I thought she was doing the opposite and saying like, oh, my husband might hit on you. Don't you dare. That's what I thought.
I thought that at first, but when I watched it for a second time, right, because you can't just watch Strip Nude for Your Killer once, I was getting the impression that, no, what she's saying is, Gisela, funny that your wife has also propositioned me this morning. And you said that, SS Experiment Camp wasn't realistic. This is realistic in the modelling industry. If you do this for me, who knows where your career could go.
Not just modelling.
Yeah.
But yeah,
not just modelling,
like I said, casting
acting.
couch 101.
All of it. Yeah. Now, back to Carlo. He's in the red room, the photo development
lab,
room.
yeah.
Yeah, photo lab with the beautiful red room. All of a sudden, who walks in? It's Magda. Magda, Carlo's assistant. She's got a long coat on. What's she got underneath?
Not very much.
Not much. And she says, I want to be a model too. But Carlo's looking her up and down and is like, you've definitely got the goods, but do you really want to throw away your career as a photographer? Because let's face it, a fashion model only has a shelf life of 2 to 4 years. And she's like, so you're saying that I couldn't be a model? And he's like, no, I didn't say that. You definitely could be. I'm just saying, focus on your career. And she likes that. She likes it so much, starts getting off with him, and guess what? Carlo's going to get blown. Carlo is the man.
So for her, she's seen Carlo, take every other piece around, and so she's like, there must be something about him. I've got to get on this and see what it's all about.
Well, that is also true to life. Women are attracted to men who have attracted a lot of women.
I'm not saying that's wrong, but
I would know. That's what I'm saying. I relate to Carlo. Great writing, great directing. I'll say it once again. You've got to get your main characters. You've got to have empathise with them. You've got to relate to them. I'm relating to Carlo. So, after that wonderful scene, and by the way, when Magda starts lowering down onto her knees, the camera just goes on. Because obviously this is an Italian movie. Everything is dubbed. So as she's going down, he's like, oh yeah. Ooh.
This bit also grossed me out because they
Why?
were snogging, and then I swear he pushes her down.
He does. He's letting her know in no uncertain terms what he wants. Because now he knows. He's like, I want to be a model. He's now in even more of a power position. And if you want to be a model, yada, yada, yada. Anyway, unseen person now goes into the photo lab. And he starts to develop some photos. But while he's doing this, he's being spied on by the biker. Person develops some photos in the lab. As he leaves, he goes home. He's home for a little while. All of a sudden, the biker knocks on his door. The guy opens the door. It turns out it's this person called Mario, who's also part of the modelling crew. And as he opens the door, he says, "Oh my, you look absolutely wonderful, lovely." So it's kind of inferred that he's a gay character. He invites the biker in. Because it's trying to throw you off, because we know he's a gay character, because it's, ooh, you look wonderful. It could either be a man or a woman in the biker costume.
I didn't know you bike.
Yeah, so the biker comes in. The guy's name, whose house it is Mario. I'll get more into his name in a minute. Mario is kind of like, oh, I've got the photos that you wanted. He's talking especially English, isn't he? He's like this. And he says, why don't you pour yourself a drink, biker? Obviously, we don't see the biker's face. It's hidden.
Gimp.
The biker, biker/gimp, biker opens up a bottle of whiskey, gets a little glass out, starts pouring it, but he pours it for much too long to the point where the liquid starts to overflow. Mario notices, he's like, what are you doing? You're spilling my whiskey!
That would be you.
That would be me, yes. A hard drinking director. And not only is he spilling his whiskey, the biker then gets a knife out.
Uh-oh.
Mario's like, no! What are you doing? He's off, didn't he? Just before he's off, though, he's explaining the photograph to the biker, and he says, here's the one you're looking for. Everybody is in it.
Right.
Here's Magda, here's Carla, here's Gisela, Maurizio, and there's also our poor Evelyn, the girl from the beginning who we see die and dumped into the bathtub. So then the biker obviously takes the photo, off the biker goes. The first person to then find Mario is Patrizia, the model who is with Maurizio. She shows up at the house because she's been summoned there because she was the model that's been replaced by Lucia. So he says, oh no, just come to my place and we'll do an extra shoot. So she's there, she finds dead Mario. So of course we get a couple of cops. They come and they start questioning Patrizia. Meanwhile, Carlo, he's back on set and he's having a bit of trouble with a couple. Stefano and another model, they're modelling together.
Right, he's not getting what he wants from them, is he?
Exactly, yeah. He's not getting what he wants. And do you remember what he wants from them?
No.
What I want is, when people look at you, they want to come.
Oh, okay,
yeah.
I don't recall.
And then the lady who's with Stefano, she's like, what do you mean? And he's like, just imagine you're in the sheets with Stefano and he's making you come. And they take offence to that.
Yeah, I was surprised at the model's reaction to this because they're not actually touching each other. They are clothed.
They're supposed to be modelling coats.
This is the kind of talk that I could totally imagine on a model set, especially back in the day. So I don't know why they got so offended.
Come as if you're in the sack with Stefano.
So apparently it's totally cool for him to be like, no, take your pants off and let me fuck you to see if you're a good enough model. But for him to say, oh, people should be attracted to you, that's too much.
Absolutely. And
Double
by the
standards.
way, Magda, her head's not in the game because she's not lighting it right either. So Carlo's having a go at her. But because Carlo realises, you know, he's gone a step too far. He's like, oh my God, I'm sorry. You know, I'm sorry, it's been a stressful day. We'll start this again in about 5 hours after I've had like 40 coffees. Because he's Italian, obviously. That's what he wants his coffee. So, back to the cops. They are now questioning Chief Model Lady Gisella, the older lady Gisella, about the death of Mario. And these two cops are in his office. Gisella's there. Also, Lucia is there. One of the cops notices that Lucia is flashing her tiny red panties. And his head's not in the game, is it? Ooh. Stellar scene. Absolutely
so
stellar. So he's distracted.
Completely unnecessary to the scene.
They're still talking about Mario, dead Mario, obviously. And it turns out in this scene, right, Mario, that's already a cliche Italian name, right? His surname is Ferrari. Mario Ferrari. You're
spilling my whiskey.
That's lazy writing right there. Mario Ferrari. That's like just like John Smith.
Yeah, but
Mario
this is by
Ferrari,
Italians, isn't it?
It's stupid. Mario Ferrari. So that's the one thing I had of this movie. Like, that's a stupid name, Mario Ferrari. But I still love it, to be fair. Mario Ferrari. So, after Gisella has been questioned and this cop has been looking at these red panties. By the way, when he's about to leave, he's like, oh, goodbye. And Lucia's like... But then she just gets her knickers out again. It's like she wanted him to look.
The way she was sashaying right from the beginning in that pool scene, she does seem like she is that kind. She's like, ugh, you all disgust me, but yes, please, want me.
So we've obviously, we've seen Lucia and Carlo together in the sauna and stuff.
Yes, we have.
After Gisella's had this stressful day of being questioned by the police, cut to the next scene, Gisella is in bed on top of Lucia, having her way with her. She slaps Lucia and says, you're a cheap whore. Mm-hmm. Just after they've had sex. So Lucia's not only having sex with Carlo, she's also having sex with Gisella. And Gisella's a bit jealous about Carlo. She's like, what's your and Carlo's relationship? Lucia's like, I don't have to tell you. We're just having sex, aren't we?
So it's
Lucia's putting about everywhere. Sex
just
everywhere.
Wait, so is this the woman then who you said propositioned the other model? So she is,
yeah.
I guess, bisexual. She's married.
She just wants everyone. Yeah, she's with Maurizio. But is she bisexual? Because we need to mention stuff about Maurizio later on. Anyway, Gisella, like I said, is jealous of Carlo. After this scene, Lucia, she is now stalked by the biker.
Gimp.
And she's stabbed to death. So it's kind of like, oh, you think Lucia's going to be a main character. But no, she's just gone.
Yeah, which also doesn't really make any sense as we get to the whole unmasking reasoning later.
I think it makes perfect sense. I love this film. Carlo, the Lothario, he now wakes up in bed, and who's there with him? Magda. So he's like taking advantage of the fact that Magda also wants to be a model as well as his assistant,
I don't think
it
was that. I think she was doing it more because she just wanted to show Carlo her body and get Carlo's goods. I don't think she was actually like, oh, I want to be a model, so I'll sleep with you. It was more like, I want to sleep with you, so I'll pretend I want to be a model.
Nothing wrong with that. You know, powerful woman, independent woman, getting what she wants. What she wants is to blow Carlo. So now, because she had such a great time blowing him, obviously now we're having sleepovers. As I say, Carlo's waking up. Magda's about to make him coffee. He says that he wants milk in his coffee. Now, you know what Italians like about coffee. Magda is kind of like, she's disgusted. People could be disgusted about a lot of things in this movie, but no. Milk in your coffee. She's like, why would you ruin it, kind of thing. He's like, just get me some milk. And she goes to her fridge. She's like, oh, I'm sorry, I don't have any milk. And he's like, I'll let you off this time, but next time I better not have to remind you. And he's laying down the law. Carlo, if I said it once, I'll say it again, he is the man. So after he's laid down the law, Magda steps outside quickly, goes to the doorstep and picks up the newspaper. As she comes back in, Carlo's doing a naked handstand on the bed. Something for the ladies. And why is he doing this naked handstand? Something to do with health, isn't it? Apparently milk in your coffee is health. Handstand on the bed is about health.
What was the point? Why? Why?
Well, I'm going to give it a go now.
Go on then.
Not right now, a bit later. Handstand on the bed, that's what Carlo's up to. And after he finishes doing his handstand, you know, his ball sacks flailing about everywhere, gets back on the bed and they open up the newspaper and it's running a story about Lucia's death. And I kind of like reading it for a little while. Magda then says, hey, wait a minute, Lucia's dead. You're the one that introduced her to us. He's like, what did you say? He starts throttling her. He's like, you don't say anything about me. You don't imply me in anything. And she's like, oh, what? You're hurting me. Then he's like, oh, sorry.
Sorry.
Let's get back to the newspaper. And back to the newspaper they do.
What the fuck?
It's just a light throttle.
Oh yeah, no big deal.
No big deal.
And he said sorry.
Yeah, he said sorry. What more do you want from him? Carlo is the man. Let's move on. Kind of just get repetitive scenes now, because now Carlo is being interviewed by the police. After this, Gisela is once again being grilled. She blames it on Mario, the one and only Mario Ferrari. And of course she would do that, because the cop points out, oh, of course, the dead can't talk, can they? So no wonder you've pointed it out to be Mario Ferrari. Then the cop brings up Lucia to Gisela, and she gets mad. She's like, you do not bring up Lucia to me. You don't imply me in anything, kind of thing, you know, because Gisela's the big boss, right? But now back to Maurizio. Maurizio, who has been previously with Patricia, but there's this other model lady called Doris, and it's her lucky day, because she's walking down the street. Also, Maurizio shows up in his car, and he's like, get in, I've got something to show you. And before he's got something to show her, I've got to say the driving scene on a technical level was stellar. Didn't you notice?
No, I didn't.
Oh, it was amazing.
I was just more baffled by the fact that she gets into his car. He's clearly not going to the agency, and he won't let her out. I was like, oh no. Well, now where are we going?
He's really speeding through town, so it would have been a bad idea for her to open the door and like fling herself out. But yeah, they end up at a house. His house. He takes her inside. Instantly, he starts begging for a shag. He's like, please, please, kind of thing.
I'll pay you anything.
Yeah, like say, even offers her money.
And to be fair, from the way this progresses, she would have been better off just taking the money, because next thing you know, he's slapping her about.
So, like you say, Maurizio is now attacking Doris. He gets her down on the sofa. But then he starts to blubber. He's like, on top of her. She relents. She's like, oh, don't worry. I'll let you do whatever you want to me. She gets out from under him. I think she's going to get out from under him and like run away.
Yeah, I thought she was faking out.
Instead, she gets out from under him and just starts taking off her clothes. Like, see anything you like, Maurizio? And he's like, ooh, ooh. Then she gets back onto the sofa after gladly getting naked. He's about to do it. He's wearing like massive Y fronts, because like I say, he's massive. And he's about to get down to it, but he's like, ooh, ooh, and he's like, Mama, Mama, I've never been able to make it with a woman before. And then she starts consoling him, which is nice. You know,
After he's just slapped
she's just
her
been
about
slapped
and tried
around.
to rape her.
And then, so she's like, oh, obviously you can't get it up. So
What is wrong with these Italian directors?
So
That's what I want to know.
I might as well just leave. And as she's about to leave, like Maurizio, the soft-hearted guy, is in. You know, he's generous. He's like, oh, please take the money I was going to offer you. Please take this money. And she's like, no, that would be weird. He's like, you're so wonderful. You're wonderful. Lets her leave the house. He continues to blubber in his massive Y fronts. And as he's walking away up the stairs, he's like, you are the only one who could ever make it happen. Pulls out his blow-up doll. Mamma mia, it's my blow-up doll. Woohoo. So he's been shagging his blow-up doll all of his life because that's the only thing that can bring him to orgasm. I wasn't expecting him to pull out a blow-up doll. Just when you think you know where this movie's going, it sideswipes you.
It wasn't...
This was an excellent film. You know what? I'm not really a fan of remakes. You know, no more remakes, please. It's a waste of good celluloid. But I would be willing to make an exception for Strip Nude for your killer. I could just be a consultant because I've been studying this movie all week. I think it's ripe for a remake. It's been 75. It's like 50 years old.
Johnny's going to write, direct and star.
Yeah, be the new Carlo. You can be Lucia.
I'll pass.
The role's still going then. Talking of remakes and cast myself as Carlo, I've also got the Italian hairy chest, and I've got some little pants, so I'll be right into this. And I've been learning Italian, so come on.
Can we get back on with the story?
Come on. After the blow up doll, obviously the biker gets him. So that's the end of Maurizio. And it turns out,
he died a virgin.
Maurizio, no, he's been shagging that blow-up doll. So,
does that count?
So, but he's as we mentioned, he's also, if you didn't catch it, he's been married to Gisella.
Yeah.
So Gisella, the harsh mistress who's been having sex with Lucia as well, she hasn't been putting out to him. So when he said she's bisexual, I was like, maybe she's married him for the money that he has. Yeah, because he's always like smoking and he's always in nice suits. He's always at the club. He's always at the shoots. Yeah, love Maurizio.
Yeah, I love a guy who beats women up and then tries to get on top of them and then starts blubbering.
Everyone has their flaws. You got to accept this for the time.
Disgusting.
This is a 1975 Italian movie.
It's not okay.
Right. Gisella now gets a phone call. A mysterious phone call from someone asking her for 10 million lira. This is before the euro. They want 10 million lira. And we're not quite sure what for. Magda, meanwhile, gets a knock at the door. We're not sure who it is because no one's coming in. But, it's only Carlo. So Magda and Carlo, like, having a conversation. It goes on for about 60 seconds. I'm like, hang on. What's happening here? Because Carlo's been on screen for, like, over a minute and he's not shagging anyone. That's an oversight in the script there. It's been far too long that Carlo's been in the scene with Magda and, no one's doing a naked handstand.
Yeah, but...
No one's throttling anybody.
Isn't this when Magda is explaining to Carlo...
No one's forcing blowies.
That she thinks Gisella is the killer because there was an earring found and there's a picture in the newspaper and Magda's got a photo of the group and she's like, look, it's the same earring.
Yeah. They do mention the earring. Luckily, though, finally I thought they do shag. And it's just a very Austin Powers music going. This is a very Austin Powers. I feel like Austin
but
Powers
without any of the irony.
Has ripped it off. Yeah, Austin Powers type music and more Carlo shagging Magda. Right. Gisella is now at the 10 million lira meet. It's nighttime. She's about to meet the bikers. Turns out the biker's the person that's called for the 10 million lira. Carlo's there, though. Out in the distance, just snapping away. As he's snapping away, Gisella is killed by the biker. And as Carlo goes up close, snapping her, it turns out her ears have been chopped off. Do you notice the severed ears on the floor? Gross. Because, you can forget that this is still a horror movie because there's so much sexual shenanigans going on. It's like, wait. Oh, this is a horror. Yeah, we've still got horror scenes to go through here.
Yeah.
This one got
Was
chopped off ears.
this the film as well where one of them had a tit chopped off and one had his
It is
crotch
that comes later. Yeah, absolutely. There's
It doesn't really seem to
private
make much
part
sense, but-
mutilation. It's a horror film, so people are expecting it. As we were saying, Carlo's been snapping away.
Yes.
As he gets close to Giselle on the floor, though, a car comes, runs him over. How's he going to shag now?
Shag now or shag later?
Yeah, with
Yeah,
Carlo, it is shag now and shag later.
But when he's running away, just before he gets hit,
Yeah.
he throws the
Roll of
camera
film.
roll. Yeah, because the car runs over his camera. Obviously, they don't want the evidence out there.
Yeah, and as I just mentioned, like, how is he going to shag now? So he's been run over. He's taken to the hospital. Luckily, though, he's going to be all right because the doctor said Carlo's got a really hard head. Is he talking about his head or his head?
You idiot.
Well,
That is so stupid.
Carlo's got a hard head, so he's going to be absolutely fine. And like you say, the roll of film's been chucked. So now Carlo's awake. He calls Magda, didn't he?
to go and collect it. It's in the
Yeah.
bin outside the studio.
Yeah.
Says you need to go get the roll, develop it,
I'll meet
whilst
you.
I sit here.
No, he says, I'm going to get up as well. You've got to go and get the roll. I'm going to meet you there. When Magda is walking the streets, driving through the streets, once again, because it's a giallo, this is serious, it was amazing lighting. Beautiful to look at, absolutely beautiful. They're almost as amazing as all the breasts to look at in this film and all the muff. Yeah. So, the biker, though, is stalking Magda. And when she's in the development room, the lights are cut. The same thing is happening to her as what happened to Lucia. So the biker finally jumps out. We see Carlo leaving the hospital. Then it cuts back and we see the biker burning the film.
Yeah. It's not all lost though, because Magda has already put some of the photos from the wet buckets into a tumble drying machine.
Does that work?
It must do. I mean, I'm clearly not using the right terminology because I don't develop old school film. But either way, Gimp person has missed
The biker.
that.
This is a proper movie. I don't think they would appreciate you calling the biker a gimp.
I think Gimp suit completely fits in with the rest of this film.
Now we've seen Carlo's about to leave. We've seen the dumping of the film and all that, but it's been saved, like you said. We're now back to Doris. Doris, she was the model who enjoyed being attacked by Maurizio.
Right.
So now she's at home, it seems. She's watching the television, and on the television are stories about the murders. Mm-hmm. In comes Stefano from the couple shoot.
Right.
Right,
the model guy.
Yeah, when Carlo's trying to shoot a model couple, Stefano was the guy from that shoot. He walks in. It turns out he must be like Doris's boyfriend. Takes her into the bedroom and just starts beating her.
I do. I must have scrubbed this from my memory.
She's just watching television. They both walk into the bedroom. She's like, "No, Stefano, I can't take anymore." He starts beating her around, and as he's beating her, he just pours himself a nice glass of whiskey, as I guess wife beaters do.
You're right. So
And it's just a random scene of Stefano the model. Yeah.
So I guess Doris was just like, oh, love, physical abuse. So that's why she gave in to Maurizio.
Once again, realistic. It is. That might be whatever you want to call it, but it is real to life, isn't it? So there we have that. But obviously Stefano's wrong, and you can't just be walking around beating women, right? So he is quickly butchered, along though with Doris, and that's when we get the breast and crotch mutilation.
Right.
So yeah, Stefano, he had it coming. Not so
He
much
has had it
Doris,
coming. No.
but I feel like there's no hope for Doris. Yeah, she's already been
It's harsh.
She's already been conditioned,
That's
unfortunately. And we're quickly back to the photo development place, and the biker is just driving off just as Carlo gets there. But Magda's there. She hasn't been offed.
Right, I was going to say she survives, doesn't
she? She's one of the only people who comes across the biker and isn't killed. She is attacked, but she has survived this attack. So then Magda, leaves with Carlo just as the cops arrive. Now, Carlo's been at a hospital for a while. He's not been shagged in the past at least half an hour. I'm getting a bit worried for him.
Oh, but also I think this is the bit because they do find the leftover photo, don't they? That wasn't destroyed, and there is a face visible in the photos. So they're like, oh, but it's this guy, and I think that was Stefano.
It was Stefano.
Yeah, it was Stefano. So Stefano is the one who rang and did the whole give me
10 million lira.
But Carlo explains to Magda, but no, when I was there taking the photos, he wasn't actually the one who offed what's-her-face. There was someone else there.
So they go, I can't remember where they go somewhere. Magda ends up then being like kind of choked by the biker. There's more choking, so she's attacked again. Carlo then gives chase outside to the biker. And they come to like some stairs. He ends up, Carlo, punching the biker down these stairs, these metal stairs.
With the helmet on.
Yeah, with the helmet on. And he gets down there. Obviously, the helmet is now off. And who is it? It's Patrizia. It's Patrizia, and she's still clinging on to life. And she knows that Carlo, in cahoots with the doctor at the beginning, had somewhat offed Evelyn and put her into the tub. And it turned out she was pregnant, and Carlo knew about it.
Yeah.
And this is the whole reason that he wanted to get rid of her, because he's the one that got her pregnant.
Yeah, I was going to say there was insinuation. But wasn't it also said, because Carlo was like, no, it wasn't my baby. I was just there, like, helping. I hooked her up with the doctor. So clearly, the other girl at the beginning who died was a model, another model at the agency. And she was having an illegal abortion, is what I was getting.
Yeah.
And that's what offed her.
Also, incest was mentioned when they were talking about pregnant Evelyn. I didn't quite catch any more of it, but I was like, oh wait, incest. But they kind of like gloss over it after that, and then Patrizia just dies. She's dead, so we knew that Carlo was somewhat suspicious from the beginning anyway, because he's been putting Evelyn into the tub with the doctor. Now that Patrizia's been revealed as the biker killer, I mean, it had to be a woman, didn't it? Because it was so skin tight, this biker suit. And if we go back to Mario Ferrari saying, oh, you look absolutely wonderful, you could have been talking about a man or a woman, so like throws you off. So we're pretty much at the end of the film, but not before Carlo's getting some again. Carlo is in bed with not Patrizia, he's in bed with Magda, and she's like kind of like just reading the magazine or whatever. She's laying on her front. He gets on top of her. All of a sudden, we see him manoeuvring himself inside her. She's like, wait, what? Where are you going? He's like, don't worry about it. Just let me do it. He's going up the dark passage. But as he's about to get in there, he's like, only joking.
Yeah, but it's worse than that, because she's like this. No. Like, full-on ape ray. This is not acceptable.
But what?
But then when he's like, oh, don't worry, I was only kidding, she's like, I want to know what the directors of these movies, I want to know what the hell is going through their minds that they think this is
unfortunately
realistic or acceptable.
I think they're all past now. But, the movie's been so fantastic,
shocking.
Been so great, that you think the ending can't
be a letdown, but you loved it.
It can't live up to what has already come. But then there's some fake anal play, and that's the end of the movie. Once the joke is out there, I was only joking. I wasn't really going to put it up the stinker, because as we all know, one at the bum, no harm done, and that was the message of this film at the end.
No, so leaving anal aside for a second, what I was going to mention. Earlier on, obviously, one of the earlier people to get offed is Lucia, the sashaying model. Mm-hmm. But when we then find out why Patrizia was offing everyone, because, she's mad that they treated Evelyn like this. But what did Lucia have to do with anything? She was brand new, mate.
Well, it's a horror movie, so you just got to kill multiple people no matter what. That's what you think, like... They forget for a second that they have been writing a horror movie. It's like, oh, we've got to kill someone, let's kill Lucia. And then we can get on more with the anal play. So, like I say, a strong message to this movie. Very strong message. Pursue women with gusto.
That is...
And one at the bum, no harm done. I loved this movie. Strip Nude for your killer. It's got to go in the collection. It's a horror must. And like I say, could get onto remaking this. I just offered you a role, you turn it down, I can't believe. If you play any role, then who'd you be? Magda.
Maurizio.
No, you can't. No, there's no gender swapping. Wow, so you actually want to play the attacking Maurizio? You have to put on a lot of weight.
Oh, you're the only one I can make it with, my blow-up doll.
Love Italian horror films.
I didn't have that on my bingo card for the week.
Apart from Body Count.
Nor did I have Nazis on it.
Apart from Body Count, which I didn't enjoy. Once again, this is keeping up the stellar reputation of Italian horror. You've got Suspiria, you've got Demons, you've got The Church, La Chiesa, you know, and now you've got Stripped Nude for Your Killer. This movie couldn't have been any better. You should be ashamed of yourself, putting this bottom.
You should be ashamed
Clearly it's a winner.
that you find this disgusting tripe good.
It's hilarious. Absolutely hilarious. And I will be watching it again to see the multiple sexual adventures of the man, Carlo.